Welcome to Married AF. We are your hosts, Brooke and Randall Fowler. On this show, we discuss the topics that really matter.
Like big veiny cocks and our favorite TV shows.
So pull up a chair at our kitchen table and hang out.
While I bulldog my nuts. There's a whole lot of irony in our intro music and the topic I want to discuss with you. And I couldn't do it alone, so I had to call into the bullpen. We got Jodie B here to help guide me through this situation. Jodie, what's up, brother?
Did somebody say big veiny cocks?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Yeah, she has no idea what the fuck we're talking about. We've never discussed it.
Okay.
Not a single time.
Yeah, Randall got super, all of a sudden he's like, all right, let's go. We're going to go record with Jodie for a little bit. And then as soon as we got you on the phone, he was like, all right, Jodie, don't tell her.
Yeah, I don't, because he knows.
So I'm like,
me and him
what?
have discussed this.
So too much. I've gone too far. The other side of back, my friends. Been to the mountains.
So everybody knows, except for Brooke. I don't even know if she knows. Do you know Randy Couture had a sex tape leaked of him?
No. Okay.
It's not really even a sex tape.
No, but now I understand why you said something about we're going to talk about Randy, and I thought you were just talking about yourself in like naughty form.
Yeah, I was reading her your text to me, Jodie, where you said we'll talk about Randy for a few minutes.
Didn't even
about Randy.
Yeah. Well, Google Randy Couture leaked sex tape.
Jesus. All right.
Be easier if you go to Pornhub.
Oh, great.
Oh, he's on Pornhub.
I couldn't find it on regular. You got to go to Pornhub and then type in Randy Couture, and it's like the third or fourth one from the top.
Okay.
You'll know when you see it.
Alrighty. Okay. There's somebody fucking a pickle on our cucumber. Sorry.
That's not it.
No. Okay. Randy. Right. Oh, didn't even have to finish typing.
Not bad for a 50-year-old man is the actual whole title.
Something about 50-year-old man. Wait, it looks like he's right. Is that him right at the top though? Randy worker helps. What?
Now, did you hit search?
Yeah. Did you mean Randy Couture?
Yeah.
I did search for Randy Couture.
And a little, like 3 or 4 from the top. There's a gentleman with a tattoo on his rib cage under his titty meat.
Man, I
wonder if they've taken it down.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Oh, do a Google. See if somebody has saved it.
I mean, I've still got a link somewhere. Let's see. So now we're just got dead air. You're going to cut this shit out.
Yeah. Brooke will square it away.
I know I sent it to some people. Who did I send it to? I could look for it in that fucking group chat, but it would take forever.
Yeah, we'll see what she gets here.
UFC Hall of Famer Randy Couture sex tape leaked. But this is like not going to have the actual link to it, I bet.
No, I would go back and go to videos.
Here, I got you. I'm going to look this shit up and send it to you. The kid's pretty quick. I'll be able to tell you real quick if it's here or not.
Hang on. I've got it now. When just Googling it, it brings me to the Pornhub one.
Oh, that's
there
it.
It is.
Here, we're cooking with gas, Joe.
I have to play it?
Yeah, I got to see what you think. The only reason why I'm okay with you watching this one is because this is Captain America.
I can watch porn if I want to.
I know, but I'm saying with me sitting right here watching you watch him.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Is this cuckolding, technically, Randy?
I guess it kind of is. But this Captain America, cuckolding or whatever.
I don't know what that means.
It's a Brooke sandwich. That's what we're going to have.
Oh, gosh.
Randy sandwich.
Oh, my. Why is this Captain America?
It's Randy Couture. That's his nickname.
Oh, I was like, this isn't Chris Pine or whatever.
No, go ahead and roll it, though.
All right. It's a weird angle. Hello. What is he doing?
All right, so first off, from the jump.
What is he doing?
Randy's got an old dick on him.
He's got an elephant trunk.
Yeah.
All right. So right now, he's just doing a weird scratch his pubes and roll it.
He's just fluffing it up, babe.
Damn, he got that thing prepped though.
He's fluffing. Randy, you ain't never done the back of the hand smack? That's the back of the hand smack. That's brother style. Where you just kind of whack it around.
He just licked his mouth though, man. Use some. See, that's how you know it's him, is the ribcage tattoo. Like some people were saying it's not him.
That's 100% him.
Is this a sex tape or is this just a I'm jacking off into the camera tape?
All right, we'll pause it right here for a minute. Then I need to sit here and because we got to talk about this. That's the key.
Okay.
Jody, do you think this is a leak or do you think Randy put this out?
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest, right? I don't know if I would share a video of me dragging off with anybody. But I do know, and if you watch that video, you'll see there's a window that pops up. He's actually doing some kind of a sexy like face chat time with somebody.
Oh.
There's a young lady that pops up. Now, I don't know if Randy Couture is married or what his status is, but there is a young lady that pops up in a smaller window on that. If you watch that video, I believe she's blonde-headed. And like I said on my show, she's just dildoing the bejesus out of herself.
Oh.
So they're definitely engaging in some back and forth. But how did it get out is the question.
Yeah, either her or him.
Yeah, here's what I think about Randy and the little bit that I know of him, because the way that I say no, Randy.
You said you know Randy. Is it like a fraternal order of Randys?
No.
Motherfuckers all know each other.
Well, that is true, because the Randy is a solid fraternity of men when you're a Randy.
Uh-huh. Except for you're a Randall.
You know the guy that, you had Bearded Dad on, Shane, last week, and he was telling his story about being cut, and he was with Josh Hall. That was his buddy that was jumped with him, or in the fight with him. Josh Hall became a UFC caliber MMA fighter. He fought on The Ultimate Fighter, season 10. He fought Matt Brown to get into the house. It's out. You can watch it. And Josh trained at Extreme Couture for years. And me and Josh are good buddies, just like me and Shane. So, blah, 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 with Shane, or through Josh, I kind of exchanged pleasantries with Randy a few times. And he's too smart of a man. Like, he's a poet, a writer, very...
he's a civilized creature. Yes.
He is a civilized creature, but what's the Renaissance man?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He wears scarves. He probably has nice watches. He's 55 years old.
Dude, props. That was my first thing.
He looks good.
Looks great.
I'm not mad at him at all for.
I will say this: Randy Couture and I have very similar jerk patterns. Not to divulge too much, but I feel like we share very similar techniques. So that made me feel good. You know what I'm saying? To know that just all by myself with no exterior training, I've managed to get myself to Captain America status. It's not bad.
Well, it should. That should make you feel good. It's not, because it's not the most orthodox stroking technique.
No, so like I said, the only part he forgets is where you grab the tip of it, you spit in the hole in your hand. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he licks his hand early in the video. So
some people just go straight dry like fucking psychos.
He's a savage though. That's the face you get though when you fight Randy Couture and he's wrestling you and humping you to death.
Yeah.
The same face, and that big monster cock
and balls.
That's a big. Oh, yeah. That's a big cock.
It's a giant 3-piece set. It was a lot going on for sure. But that's. I assume that she leaked it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. And the funny thing is it's another. Did you guys watch Joe Rogan's latest stand-up where he talks about the double standard for like fucked up shit and stuff like that? He referred to the Harvey Weinstein stuff and how people get. Yeah, okay. It is kind of the same thing with this, right? Like, if that was a young lady who had her business all out, if that was Jennifer Lawrence or Jennifer Lopez, and somebody leaked a tape of her with her, because he finishes BTW.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He puts his asshole on the camera, and fucking he gets all rowdy, and he actually goes tribute on his fucking phone. If you don't know what that is, look it up.
Yes.
Okay.
The asshole on the camera thing is, I'm glad you went there.
How long of a video is it? Oh, it's like 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, it's that part I struggle with.
Hey, Brooke, did you listen to The Fighter and the Kid? I know you guys like their show.
Yeah.
Have you listened to the episode where they covered this? Because this is how I found out about it.
No, I haven't yet. Or I would have known, probably.
It's it's the best piece of Fighter and the Kid I've listened to in years.
Is it their most recent
one? I got it queued here. Can I play it?
Absolutely. Go for it. Listen to Shab watch this.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite things I've ever heard on this fucking show. Yeah, okay. It may take a second. I'm in the neighborhood, I think.
Yeah. God, this shit was funny.
Why did he turn his ass like? Oh my God.
Well, there he is.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Okay, so he's jacking off. How do you know he didn't?
Here it
say
is. Send it to some girl.
You really want to watch this right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Why wouldn't I?
I mean, please don't do this.
Okay. It's queued up now. Just this next minute or so. They're going to skip around. This is the funniest fucking thing I've heard on this show all year. And I love their show. And just a few weeks last week, they had a great one too. So it's, you guys brace yourself. You know,
I've heard it.
Podcast material on a podcast. I know, whatever, but this is fucking hilarious.
All right, let me get my hand down. Well, there he is. Dude, he keeps things very well trimmed.
Dude, I don't know if that's him. Weird. Hey, I don't know if that's him.
He keeps things well trimmed.
I don't know if that's him, bro. I refuse to believe it.
He doesn't have a tattoo.
I don't know if that's him.
It's not his tattoo.
Damn, he does have a dick on him, though, doesn't he?
He does.
It's all right. He has a set of balls on him. He is dead serious.
But also, he's shaved his bush down pretty well.
Well, he's shaved, man.
Also, you look like you're about to piss. You don't look like you're about to jerk off. You know
is he pissing on people?
I mean, that's what it looks like. It's like, hey, bro, you gonna take a piss? Or
now, are they into? All right. No, it's just, hey, it's Randy Couture jacking off, bro.
It's Christmas, so we may as well watch it. Now,
so
that's what I'm saying.
Now he's putting saliva on his dong.
Dude, I don't have a okay. Does this make him a bad person?
No.
Have none of us ever done this before?
I've never done it, but I mean, I've heard people have done it.
Fast forward a little, so I don't feel so.
I've taken pictures. What's going on here? All right, well, Randy.
Why did he turn his ass like that?
Randy.
Why did he do that?
Can he get them to take this off?
No, man, I'm watching Randy Couture jack off, bro. I'm sweating. Dude, I'm sweating.
Being aggressive.
Keep going. Why is he doing this?
No, he's showing the.
Oh!
Okay.
Yeah!
All right.
Oh!
to make money, and somebody's going to pay him a lot of money for that video.
Sure, somebody already
or
is
they already
paying
have.
him. Pornhub probably is.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're hosting it, so it's not like it's just out there on like YouTube or something, which would have gotten taken down. But
yeah, I think it's a plan. He's too smart of a man. Like you said, he's got money. He could fight it if he didn't.
What does he have something going on? Like some kind of? Is he going to be fighting?
No, I don't think he'll fight again. He's got Extreme Couture gym, and he's got a bunch of fighters, and he does work for some of these organizations. But
yeah, anybody going to like grapple with him is just going to be like, hey, fist bump.
Well, that's why I had called Josh the other night, Josh Hall, when it went on for long. I said, did you know about it? He said, no. And then he pulled it up and was like, good for you, Randy. And he meant it.
Yeah, he did.
It was the funniest thing in the world. He said, good for you.
It's the first sincerest shit. Good for you, buddy.
Yeah, because he said me and Randy used to hang out, and we'd be at his apartment after he was divorced, and they're both deep thinkers, smart guys, and he was like, Randy's a sexual being,
obviously,
clearly,
and he's recording himself.
He was like, so it doesn't surprise me, and he said, and Josh would know. He said, Randy's too smart. Randy's involved. 100%. He wouldn't let it get out of his grasp.
Yeah, 100%.
So
he's good for you. High five, fist bump, Randy Couture.
Yep. Well, here in a minute, we're going to be welcoming Rachel Miller for our monthly check-in with her. So we'll be talking about New Year's resolutions and other holiday-themed questions.
Sure.
So before we go to Rachel, I want to give a shout-out to our sponsors, Spunk Lube,
Muscle Vodka,
Bio Bidet, Bidet, and hopefully might have another sponsor on board. We'll see.
No, don't say anything. Oh, and if you want to buy like some merch of ours, you can go to wehavemerch.com.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned that in decades.
We haven't.
I feel
we're assholes, and we
have
suck.
Not mentioned it a bit.
We're not good at this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of cool shit out there, though.
There's really cool shit out there. Shirts, hats, koozies, underwear.
There is underwear. Red panty night.
Beer steins, Pilsner glasses. All kind of shit. So go check that out. Yeah, we have merch.com, and then you go to Podcast Row, and we are up in that shit. Married AF.
Yeah, and shout out to our family here at Civilized Creatures Entertainment Network. Larry made an announcement. We do have more shows on the network now. Mm-hmm. We have welcomed Blunt Mommy, Amanda, of course. She has been on fire. She's been on more shows, and I know you're not caught up on all the shows, but she has been on literally 10 shows in the last 2 weeks.
Awesome. Good for her. And then there's, and she's going on Drinks with Larry soon.
Mm-hmm.
And they mentioned the other shows that are on the network, and since I didn't know we were going to be talking about this, I'm not prepared. So it's like 8-Bit Bros.
Yep.
Drinks with Larry, of course.
Conversation
X.
Yep. Atlanta Familia.
Yeah.
Those guys are awesome. More people need to listen to their shit. Their show is great, and they came out of the box with like good sound quality. Good episodes. So happy to have them on board. But that's the team right now.
Okay. I didn't think I was missing anybody. I think Larry mentioned somebody that maybe was going to come.
Yeah.
Is Jodie? What's Jodie?
I don't think Jody's on the network, and I don't think he really is interested.
To. Yeah.
No, we've talked about it before, and I don't know. I would love to have Jody, but I don't know if he's really down to join one or not. But
Jody's a rolling stone.
Jody is a
lone wolf.
Yeah, he's a lone wolf. He likes to walk the world alone and watch Randy Couture masturbate profusely.
I'm sure he's welcome.
Yeah, well,
I'm just.
No, it'd be great.
He is family.
Oh, yeah. We got a whole group of shows. You guys know the shows we love. And
our podcast
friends.
gang.
So you should check all them out. Bearded Dad Podcast. Hopefully Shane has a new episode soon. He did great on Jodie B's show. And so, yeah, you guys enjoy Rachel Miller.
Mm-hmm.
She'll be coming up next magically because we're talking right now the night before.
Yeah.
But it'll be tomorrow in just a second.
Time traveling right now.
Yeah. So enjoy. I'll tell you to fuck yourself after we're done with Rachel. And we're back.
You didn't give me the silent 2-1 like they do.
Hello,
for TV.
Rachel Miller.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. You sound a little different. You sound like all the girls I went to college with after we would have a rager.
She sounds like Phoebe when she got the cold and then wanted to sing Smelly Cat. Like,
well, I was going to say she sounded like all the girls in college that never smoked, but smoked a pack of cigarettes the night before, drank about 10 whiskeys, and partied all night.
It's totally my phone sex voice. It's I've had a cold for 2 weeks, and so this is actually the best I've sounded in about 2 weeks.
oh, wow.
I had to cancel sessions on clients for a day because I couldn't talk at all. Like it just, I woke up and my voice was not there anymore. So,
And that's frustrating, especially for a job where you talk a lot, because my job, I have to talk a lot too. And I had, it was last year, babe, like it was probably right about a year ago. Remember that I got a cold and then it was like straight up laryngitis for like 3 weeks. It took 3 weeks for my voice to come back. And there was at least a solid 2 weeks where I could barely make sound, and I'm on so many conference calls and stuff all day, and I would try to start talking and people would be like, who is that? I'm like, it's just, God damn it, never mind.
Talking seemed like a good idea, but it's not.
I'm just gonna shut up.
I wanted to do this since we have the powerful Rachel Miller on. We did promise, and we want to deliver and announce who our guest of the year is on this episode.
I forgot that we hadn't done that yet.
We have officially, because we had to remove you from the running because you're a part of the team, but we did officially moniker you, and we're getting you a gift as Married AF Contributor of the Year.
Well, yeah.
Just because that's by far the highest honor you can have. Even better than guest.
That's so sweet.
Contributor of the Year. But of the guest of the year, we had 4 great finalists. We had Kristen Beck, A.A. Ron from Drinks with Larry, Amanda from Blunt Mommy, and Richard Tillman. Those 4 people won their waves from Twitter. Legit as fuck. People had to vote, had nothing to do with us. Once they won their wave, that's when me and you came in we got to put in a piece, and then we looked at their downloads.
Yep.
And so when we did all that math, and that's why I'll never do this again because it's hard to do.
And we weren't done with guests for the year, which is what I said before you started this poll.
Yeah, but they'll be fine. They'll get over it. I just don't want to hurt people's feelings because they're all awesome. But there has to be a winner, and you do all the math, plug it in. The Married AF 2018 Guest of the Year is, and I'm going to let Brooke say it so everyone's mad at her.
It's Richard Tillman.
Richard Tillman.
Yay.
Guest of the Year 2018. Congratulations.
Set of
sir.
hair on that one.
Set of hair. Good looking fella.
Yeah.
Looks a lot like me. We do favor.
You
heavily.
It's like I'm looking at Richard Tillman right now.
But to Chief Beck, to Amanda, to A.A. Ron, all of them are champions.
God, we love all of them.
And they were great guests, and they're welcome here anytime, and they all know that.
Well, and they're all coming back, including Richard.
Yeah, but Chief Beck, I don't know if you follow her on social media, Rachel, but she had her full face done like 3 or 4 days ago. Her full face and her...
did she just get her boobs done too, or was that...
A while before.
Okay.
But she had her full face transitioned and Adam's apple shaved.
It looks so painful.
So she's dove in.
I do follow her, but I didn't see it. Well, it's been the end of the semester for me, so I haven't seen much of anything anywhere.
Yeah, I don't see much of anything unless Randall shows me. He pulled it up last night, and I was like, it looks like... Because she got so much done all at once, and it's all healing now. I mean, it looks so ouchy.
Yeah, but I mean, she's such a warrior. I'm glad that
she's a champ. But
ow,
like it looks like everything on her face had something done to it. But I mean, she's gangster.
I mean, she's living her life.
Yeah.
You know. And
well, I hope it all went well, and I hope the recovery goes well.
Yeah, she's a champ. But so props to all them. That's the guest of the year. Now I got to tell Rachel and Brooke a story I haven't told either. I haven't told Brooke yet either.
No.
And I want to get your...
I'm so nervous now, Randall.
I want to get your opinion on this because it's holiday related. So I was at our outlet malls this past week.
I see this on my list. I think I know what you're...
And I was in Aunt May's.
It's not Aunt... yeah, I was just about to say, what is this Auntie... It's Auntie Annie's.
Oh, Auntie Annie's. It's the pretzel place, the little pretzel bites.
The delicious pretzels.
And so I'm in there getting in line to get my pretzel bites. And this woman is at the front.
That works
trying
there?
to cash out. No, a patron.
Okay.
And there's, a 16-year-old girl working the register. Probably her first job ever. And
last job ever.
It's the holidays and there's a million people in this little bitty store. And the woman says, I want some of the hot dog bites. And the girl's like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, we don't have any of those. The lady goes, so you're telling me that you don't have any hot dog bites? And she said, yes, ma'am. We're fresh out right now. We're trying to get some more. So you're telling me that this whole store doesn't have any damn hot dog bites?
That poor little girl. She's like, that's what I just said, ma'am.
And the girl's trying so hard to be nice, and it's Christmas, and for the love of God, it's like 10:30 in the morning. And the girl's like, yes, ma'am, that's what I'm saying. So then she gets real. She's like, and this is her words, not mine. This is a goddamn joke. And this place is packed. And the girl
10:30 in the morning.
10:30 in the morning, and the girl's like horrified at the front register. And so she says, this is a goddamn joke. So there's no hot dog bites here that you could put in, and I'll wait. And the girls, this is when I actually said, ma'am, that's exactly what she said. I was like 3 people behind her. I was like, that's exactly what she said.
Are you hard of hearing, ma'am?
And anyway, so she left and slammed the door. But I was like, you know what? That just all... And I put a note in my iPhone to bring this up because, we talked about how the holidays really piss people off. What was her problem?
That's why everybody that works retail fucking hates Christmas time because
right.
That's the majority of the customers you see during the holidays because they're frustrated because they've had to wait in line for a long time or wait to be served for a long time. And whoever they're being...
don't know that that's what's going to happen
Right.
when you go shopping anytime between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right. Exactly.
See, the therapist in me is like, maybe she's having a bad day.
Sure.
Clearly something's going on for her. The retail manager in me is like, get a fucking grip.
Fucking kick rocks, bitch. Yeah.
Like, and the retail manager in me is like, thank you, Randall, very much for standing up for that employee because they are so abused during the holidays.
God, they are.
Like, it's just so not fair. Like, I know shopping through the holidays sucks, but you don't have to be nasty.
That's why I did 100% of my Christmas shopping on Amazon.
But over pretzel bites, like this, it just shows you that it's clearly she's just in a horrible ass mood and it's something else.
Right.
But the
and
pretzel
who needs hot dog bites at 10:30 in the morning?
Who needs them at any
lunch.
time? But I mean, they're just delicious. I get the regular old bites, but you know what? It's not that
good.
deep.
And it's not that little girl's fault.
Like,
you can be bummed out about it.
You couldn't plan for that properly if you wanted to. So, like, here's a great example for you of that kind of thing that's not within someone's power to do anything about. The last retail job I managed a Forever 21. We opened that store the weekend before Thanksgiving. Talk about a clusterfuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 120 employees. I didn't even know names.
Jesus Christ,
the first
how big of a
week that we were there
Forever
because I didn't even hire them. Like, it was craziness. Well, we were out of gift cards by like week 2. I had to make 3 trips No, somebody made a trip out to me to give. I had to borrow them from other stores. Somebody made a trip out to me. I had to make 2 trips to the city to go get some from other stores, but customers were livid. Ugh. You don't have any gift cards in the store. No, not a single one, because don't you think I'd like to take your money?
And get this over with?
I'd really love to take your money.
I'd really like for you to get out of my face. Yeah.
Right. Oh, people were so angry. Like, we had 3 registers go down over the night of Black Friday. Oh my. Like, I was running a brand new store on 3 registers. Like, anything that could have gone wrong did. And I'm always so grateful for customers who were like, we know you're doing the best you can.
Right.
And then there's this people, and are just unpleasant. And I'm like, what did you accomplish by that?
Oh, except for make this little girl want to never work again, because she was so young. They always are.
Right. I know. It's just like, what could possibly help you by being nasty to a salesperson? And so thank you, Randall, for that little girl, for standing up for her, because clearly that woman was having a day.
Oh, for sure. And I'm notorious for that. I mean, I know that Brooke gets tense when we're in those situations of she knows I'm going to say something if that continues with people. Like, I have no problem being like, sir, get the fuck out.
And I'm like one of those people that I always think of what I should have said 10 minutes later. Like, right in the moment, I'm like, I don't know what to say. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, God damn it, I know what I should have said. And then for some reason, I just freeze.
There's a happy medium, because I go to an extreme and I'm immediately like, you know what, fuck yourself and get the fuck out of here. Everyone hates your fucking guts. You are ruining Christmas for everyone around us. Please leave. So it's probably, I think Rachel would say, somewhere in the middle.
Well, this is where it's really hard, because the store manager in me is like, no, you go right ahead and say all those nasty things that you want to say, because I can't do it. So please go right ahead and say it. But if I'm the customer, then I'm, sometimes I won't even say something. Sometimes I'll wait until I get up to the line and say to the girl, I'm so sorry you're having such a bad day. I promise just ignore her. You're fine. But so I appreciate people who can be like, no, go fuck yourself and get out of this store. Stop ruining people's lives.
Go ruin just your family's Christmas. Don't ruin everyone else's. Well, here, let's take our shot to Christmas cheer.
Yes.
And to proper etiquette in stores. Mm-hmm. Fucking get your shit together, people. Be nice.
Don't be an asshole.
Be nice.
Merry
just
Christmas.
Be nice. Happy holidays.
Oh, God, that shit's terrible. Brooke got the last.
What are you drinking?
Mine was delicious.
Brooke got the last, because I'm a gentleman. We only had 1 shot of muscle vodka left, so I gave it to her because she can handle it. And I just took a shot of pure Irish whiskey.
The other thing I need to order. I need to order muscle vodka and
I almost threw up. Hey, so I want to ask you both about your opinions on the Kevin Hart thing. Are you familiar with it, Rachel? The Oscars?
Oh, is this the thing where he stepped down from the Oscars because of an old tweet?
Yeah, somebody dug up some tweets from him from 2011 that were terrible. Like, they were in bad taste.
They're stupid. And I've seen what he tweeted.
What he tweeted was his son, his young boy. He said, if my young boy comes home and wants to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to
He said, I'm going to tell him that's gay and break the dollhouse over his head or something.
Something like that, exactly. He apologized for that later in that same year, in 2011, as soon as the shit hit the fan. So now somebody brings it back up in 2018, and the Academy tells him to apologize again. He says, I'm not apologizing again. I've already done it. I clearly was wrong. I'm not apologizing again. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to step down because I don't want to be a distraction.
And he's a comedian, and a lot of times it's not...
It was in bad taste, for sure.
It was a terrible... It was trying to be funny, but it's not funny. And
but what are y'all's thoughts on people being able to go back and pull up your old tweets as ammunition? And remember, this is the same Academy that, despite all the clear rumblings about Harvey Weinstein fucking everybody for years and years, overlooked that and sucked his cock every time there was Academy Awards until it was too late. And then they jumped ship, of course. we're giving him this pressure. What are y'all's thoughts?
Well, everything about there's a lot of hypocritical things that happen in Hollywood. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think I would do the same thing if I was Kevin Hart. Like, fuck this. I don't want this to be the focus.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth the whole heat. I've already apologized. Exactly. I don't even want the gig.
Right. He's Scrooge McDuck in money.
Yeah.
He does no problems with any cash flow. So if I was him, I would do the same thing. Be like, damn it. You know, like, I apologize. It was stupid. I made a mistake 10, 15 years ago. I don't feel, just remove me from this situation altogether. So, I mean, I don't think he'll have any problems getting any other jobs and stuff.
No.
But.
Well, what do you think, Rachel, about that?
So I have mixed feelings about this one because in part, if we don't give people some grace, how are they ever going to grow? Like, I'm sure that if you go dig through tweets of mine from 9 years ago, there are things that I probably said that I wouldn't say now. I'm not the same person. I can
guarantee you that for me.
I didn't tweet them.
Or social media.
Just
a year ago.
Right? But I'm not the same person. And part of why I'm not the same person is because I've learned, I've grown, I've intentionally, tried to do better and be better. And so I would hope you see some growth and change in me over time. And so if we don't allow people to ever screw up, I mean, pretty soon we're going to cut everybody out because nobody's perfect all the time. Do I think he could have apologized again and said, look, I know this thing that I said was out of line. I apologized then. I apologize now. But that's also his call. Mm-hmm. Like, if he don't want to do it, then don't do it. I don't care. I don't,
I'm with
but
you.
I think as a society, if we're, people have to have an opportunity to change. Like, and I'm not saying like everything's forgivable or that you can't pull that stuff out again. You can, but what you have to allow at that time is a conversation around, how people change and how people grow and let people develop new understandings of things. Like, you just can't make it. Life is not that cut and dry. I just don't see how that's going to help people. I mean, sure, it's lots of fun to pull out Donald Trump's old tweets or, other people's where you're like, didn't you just say the opposite thing about this? Like, I get why we do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do also, the world has changed dramatically in in our lifetime, it's changed dramatically. It's changed even more quickly in the last probably 15 years. And so things that were okay to say when, like, my son was a baby, I would never say now. Like, I don't know. Can people pull that stuff out and throw it in my face? Sure. I can own the things that I did and said. But I would hope if we want people to do better, then we have to give them opportunities to change.
Yeah. And I think that it's and I'm usually anti-celebrity. Like, I give Hollywood all kind of shit. But in this case, it's almost reversed that. I don't think any of us would give our best friend any real shit over something dumb that they said 9 years ago when you know that they're different now. You would just be like, whatever. I know you were stupid. We all were. I was stupid too. We can acknowledge that with our friends.
Right.
But because he's a celebrity, or she, because someone's done the same thing to Sarah Silverman, by the way, the same thing.
Well,
in retaliation, Nick Cannon did it. Yeah. But two wrongs don't make a right. Like, the point is, he's getting it more because he's a celebrity on this point, so I got to stick up for him and be like, you know what, that's stupid. If it was your buddy, you'd be like, man, God, we used to be stupid. We used to say the dumbest, most insensitive things.
Right. Because that's all,
Yeah. And if it was like your uncle or your whatever who said crap when you were little and now, I mean, okay, so I'll give an example. One of my uncles told me when I was in high school, Rachel, if you ever date a black man, I'll disown you.
Very common.
My uncle would never say anything like that now.
Right.
Ever. He's had lots of growth and lots of change and lots of, understanding of where he was then and understanding the problem with the way he thought about things. And he's done work around that. I don't hold that against him now. Like, I don't look at him and go, you racist bastard. Like, he and I may actually sit around and talk about, the fact that we live in a white supremacist society or whatever. Like, we can have those conversations. But if I held him to that stand, and said that he was never going to be any better than what he was there, well, that's a loss for him and a loss for me.
Agreed. Well, let's dive into these. We got 8 solid listener questions. We really got 10, but 2 of them I think we're not going to have time for them. So,
okay.
Brooke, you go ahead and jump into the first one from our good friend Miles.
Yeah, this one is from Miles. Says, do you think
Miles.
Hi Miles. Do you think people intentionally make New Year's resolutions they will fail? I don't know why it was so hard for me to say resolutions. Resolutions.
Do they make them?
I think, I'll give my opinion while Rachel thinks. My answer is yes. I think people know that
everybody throws in the towel.
95% of their resolutions are bullshit because they outkick their coverage. They decide on something huge that sounds good on paper, like
quitting smoking.
I've been smoking for 42 years. I'm quitting on January 1.
Right. That's just not realistic. I mean, it can be.
Or I'm going to lose 100 pounds. Like, instead of saying I'm going to lose 6 pounds.
I don't think I've ever made a New Year's resolution. Because I just don't. I think they're kind of dumb. I just try to live my best. And if I want to do something new, try it throughout the year. Don't wait till January 1st. But that's just me.
I don't think people make them intentionally because, so that they can fail them or because they know they'll fail them. I think so often people are looking for something to keep them motivated in a way that hasn't worked before. Like, I've tried other things. I've done this. Let's try the beginning of the new year. Like, I really want to be different this year, but I think change is hard. And I think lots of times we're just trying to figure out how to do it. And the new year seems like a good time to give it a shot. Do people sort of think like, if I can't do it, then I can't do it? Maybe. But I also think people are just a lot of times just looking for that one little bit of extra motivation that might help them stay on track this time or get back on track from the last time they fell off the bandwagon. I don't think people like
maybe they think
because I think if you know you're going to fail,
you
don't even do it. That's my excuse. Like, I'm not doing New Year's resolutions because I know I'm not going to do them. So I don't do them.
Yeah.
I've done a couple with Jimbo for a couple years back in the day about quitting dipping.
Oh, how'd that work out for you?
Like half a day. And I knew when I said it, I know I'm not going to be able to just stop that day. But I would say it almost like to get people off my back and to like draw my line in the sand and all the wrong reasons. And the reason I say that is because if it's something that you want to change bad enough, why wait until a date?
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Is that, like, I think people put so much pressure on them. They do. They're like, okay, there's this big thing that I need to really do, but all right, it'll be my New Year's resolution, and then that will make me succeed. Like, because it's a New Year's resolution, maybe that.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe
label.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all about.
I also think lots of it is because we all let lots of things go over the holidays.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I mean,
diets go in the shitter.
What
is
diet?
What you're saying.
Right,
Yeah.
it's a freaking free for all half the time, right? And so
I haven't gotten on a scale.
People
in a
are
month.
smoking like crazy because they're broke. All the
Right.
food in the world, so they're smoking, eating, broke. Like, life is great.
I want to pretend like our
Drinking,
scale's
like-
broken.
hanging out with people they shouldn't, hooking up with exes that they shouldn't, you know? Like,
Yelling at girls at the pretzel place,
Right.
ripping their assholes.
New Year's resolution, I will be nicer to people.
Yeah.
But I don't think people do it because, like, don't say, like, oh, I'll just make them, and if I fail them, it's fine, it's whatever. I think a lot of people that I talk to, it's just a chance to restart, you know? It's a chance to maybe do better or cut back on some excesses. And I think society's made this way bigger thing than it ever needs to be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now it's to the point where if you're a big enough celebrity and you make a resolution and you don't follow through with it, it's like pulling out the tweets. People pull out your old, you promised this, like, shit, man. It's like nowadays, leave no evidence. Like, don't say shit. It's almost like everybody's got to have an attorney present.
That's
like,
why I've never really made one because I don't want somebody like.
That's where we're so different. And you're smart.
Yeah.
I'll throw some shit out there and be like, you know what? You don't think I can lose 100 pounds next year? You're on.
Stupid.
I'll lose it in 8 days. You know, because we haven't talked to you since the Randy challenge, but that I lost that 15 pounds in 4.5 days.
Tell him to go fuck himself, Rachel.
That was ridiculous, by the way.
So many people were mad at me.
Every female that we're friends with
Was very mad.
is
Yeah, they were
angry.
Don't worry, Tom was mad at you too. He was like, "What the hell was that?"
It was water, though. It really was.
Right.
I just was too heavy. So it's just my water level.
He went to the sauna 3 times a day. Sweated.
I mean, I was sweating, working out hard, real hard, and I've kept a good bit of it off to where I'm comfortable. But I lost 17.6. I probably kept 10, 11 off, which is about what I wanted. I wanted to get under 250 comfortably. That's my Mendoza line.
Okay.
But so I get it. You know, people want to lay out the challenge, but I'm with you, Rachel. I think we put too much pressure on people. So if your friends put up a resolution, don't be dicks about it.
Exactly. Don't be an asshole.
If you see them sneaking a smoke out back of the house,
support them in a positive way. Don't be like, you're fucked.
You prick dick motherfucker.
You're a failure in life.
Right? Yeah, because that's super helpful, and that really makes people want to stick with their resolutions.
Exactly.
You swore to me you would never smoke again. You fucked our friendship.
Yeah.
Well, listen to this question. This one makes me sad. This is number 2.
Uh-oh.
My New Year's resolution. And I'm not laughing at the person because, dear God, I'm sad for them. I want to make a friend. The truth is I don't have any friends. I listen to podcasts and these shows are my friends. How do I even go about making friends as a middle-aged woman?
Hey, if I wasn't married to you, I wouldn't have any.
So,
I would probably
God,
just stay
that's
home.
a tough question. I was not expecting one of these in the New Year's resolution. So, Rachel, go.
I actually think that's a phenomenal question.
It is.
I have been having similar conversations with several different clients around this idea of why is it so hard as adults to make friends, particularly once you don't have any smaller children in your house. Because when your kids are younger, if you have children, then you become friends with the parents of your kids' friends.
And you hope
because
they're
you're all
cool.
going to the same baseball game and the same soccer practice, and you meet people through those environments. But like if you work from home, or you work in a small office, or you do something that you're not meeting coworkers, like really honestly, how are you supposed to make friends as a grown-up?
No, it's so hard. I've thought about this when I got this question, and I was trying to think of like a really cool sounding way to answer it. And when I got really honest with myself, I was like, fuck, man, I don't know. Like the only thing I could think of was like the gym for me. Like I'll meet other guys that for some reason, and it's easier for guys. That's what I was just about to say. Girls aren't the same. For one, girls at the gym are on guard about creeps like crazy. So they don't talk to really anyone. But guys will kind of get up there and be like, oh, bro, can I have a spot, bro? Or, oh, are you working the lateral head of your dorsimus fuckimus?
No, but in the classes, because the classes are predominantly women, everybody's very friendly and talks to each other in there because it's like a safe haven. And then like...
Oh, sure. I can see that.
It's like, because it's... I mean, there are guys that come in there sometimes, but not very much. And it's a whole different ball game in there. So classes at the gym.
But if you're not partying anymore, like Rachel's saying, like if you're out of your party stage, so you're not bar hopping, and you're out of your young kids, because she's exactly right, with all the baseball, soccer friends, daycare friends, birthday parties all the time, the same group. If you're past that, where do you go? Is there a Tinder for friends?
You'd think there would be, right? You think we would have come up with that by this time. But I think, so some of this depends on, on each individual person. But sometimes the recommendation I give around that is, what do you love to do? Or what are the things that interest you? So if you're, I'll say over the age of 35 to, or 40 maybe even, if you're a reader, see if your library has any book clubs that are worth joining. If there's something that you've always wanted to try, like, I don't know, if your local Barnes and Noble has a Toastmasters club and you can, practice your public speaking, or a writing group, or, I don't know, a Master Gardeners Club kind of thing. Whatever thing it is that you love to do there. This sounds really silly, but I know 25-year-old and 30-year-old friends who knit, and they belong to knitting circles.
Or painting, art classes.
Yes. Really finding something that you like to do, and finding other people who also like to do that. Because at this point, you sort of have to go with your interests, because you're not going to end up in spaces with different kinds of people unless you go search them out. And I know that I'm not hanging out at the bar on Friday night. That's not something I'm doing. But where you might catch me is, I don't know, there's a book signing for an author, or there's, I don't know, if you do like a poetry's your thing, find a local poetry reading, or even professional organizations, a networking group of some kind. And I would also venture out there to say, proceed with caution in friendships the same way you do, maybe not to the same level as you do dating.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Google somebody when you meet them, for sure.
I wanted to ask you, Rachel, because we kind of touched on this earlier, but I had it here written that with society today, everything is so remote. You can work remote, you can bank remote, you can shop remote, you can fucking anything remote. That everyone has remote friends.
Right.
Yep.
So this question is really even more valid than I was giving it credit for, because I get it, because I work remotely so much, and we have so many remote friends that we've met through podcasting.
Our whole podcasting gang.
So what I could recommend to this listener, because she said she loves podcasting, and they're her friends, which you are our friend, for sure. But there are Facebook groups for your local podcasters. Like there's an Atlanta podcasting group we're a part of.
Yes, I was just about to say
that. And they do meetups all the time.
Yes.
So if you're a huge podcast fan and you live in Medina, Ohio, shout out to Drinks with Larry.
Drinks with Larry.
Get on your local
Corkscrew
Ohio podcasting group. Apply to get into the group and then go meet up.
And not even like podcaster groups necessarily, but like any interest. So like, for example, there's about 11,000 like murder true crime groups on Facebook that, and like any kind of interest that might have a podcast associated with it, or just a group associated with it. They do meetups and things like that all the time. And I mean, use social media, basically, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, definitely use social media. So there's let me see if I can pull it up. There is a Facebook group, and since you mentioned that, I don't know why I didn't think about this sooner. There is a Facebook group called What Would Virginia Woolf Do? And it's actually some of it's even based exactly around this idea. It's like women over 40 trying to, collect and converse with other women over 40. And there's lots of regional groups where they do in-person meetups, and they do, lots of activities and other things around helping you locate like-minded people. So, I mean, stuff like that's an option too, like looking around and seeing, finding your local groups and see who meets up in person. And let's not pretend that it's as easy as that, right? It doesn't mean you're going to automatically click with a bunch of people. You sort of have to date for friends. Like, it sounds really silly. It is.
Yeah.
So true, though.
And it's just not that easy to feel comfortable putting yourself out there in that way when if you haven't done that in a long time.
Well, and the older you get too, the higher your standards are. Like when you're in your 20s, right, you'll hang out with anybody that is willing to go get a beer. Like it doesn't matter
you can
what
find common ground in that.
Because that's your common ground. Yeah, so but the older you get, the higher your standards are, the pickier you are, like the less bullshit you have time for.
Yeah, no, that's so true.
I think that's also why it's harder for people in their
middle-aged, a very valid point,
years to make friends. I mean, that's why we have so few friends that we hang out with. I mean, we have a very small group of friends that we try and make time to go hang out with, and still don't.
Well, people start to eventually not make the cut, and I think that's okay. That's natural in
life
because everybody grows up at their own pace, and some have kids, some don't.
Yeah.
Things happen, but you're absolutely right, though. You get you're way more likely to be like, this shit's not going to work. You smoke cigarettes.
Or
you smoke too much pot. You do the, we'll pass our label and be like, nope, you talk too much.
It's just like, I just don't have the energy to deal with XYZ person, and
sure.
I'm old enough now to say, nah.
Well, speaking of cigarettes, this question is hilarious.
Oh, okay.
You gotta ask it.
I want to give up cigarettes, Rachel, because they smell terrible and leave a nasty chalk-like coating on my tongue. Blech. My only problem is that other than those two issues, I love cigarettes. Boyfriends come and go, but my American spirits are always there. Is it weird that I consider my cigarettes a friend? Oh, yeah.
I'm not laughing. I am laughing.
But you are.
It's like it sounds like a crutch.
It's the last question though. That I picture her like holding hands with her cigarette. Is it weird that I consider my cigarettes named Billy a friend?
She didn't say that, or he didn't say that, or I guess he or she.
So what do you think, Rachel? They are a strong addiction, though. I could see that.
They are a strong addiction, and there's all kinds of supports out there around how to quit, and but it is interesting to me the sort of intimate relationship that the listener has developed with their cigarettes. Like, that's intriguing to me, and I'd be curious. I'd be curious as a therapist to dig into that a little further. And I will say that there are some therapists who specialize in supporting people through this kind of, I'll call it a resolution because that's what we're talking about, but who help people really, because doing it alone is really hard. Let's not pretend it's not. And if you've become reliant on the cigarettes in more ways than one, sure, you could replace it with, what are they talking about now? The
vaping,
the e-cigarettes and that type of stuff. Like, lots of people are shifting to that, though I couldn't really tell you whether or not that's a better option or not. There's the gum, there's the patch, there's there's pills you can take that can help reduce cravings and all that kind of stuff. Like
and they can make you suicidal out there and murdery as fuck too. All those pills.
Yeah, some of them have pretty severe side effects. Yeah,
they make you homicidal / suicidal. Not a side effect I'm willing to roll the dice on.
Don't blame you one bit.
Well,
they say that like in the commercial too.
Here's the thing, and I already feel like a dick, so I gotta go back before my tweet gets looked at. Is I was just poking fun at this listener when I was laughing at the question. I'm the same way with dip. I don't call it Betty Sue, but if you take...
It's not your friend, but
if you take my best friend here, Xavier, away from me, I would be a nightmare. So I actually get it, and I don't want her to feel like... or him, whoever it is that I'm poking fun at him, because I'm the same way. That dip is my pacifier.
No, when we were snowed in, no power last year, snowed in...
Oh, dear God, you're right.
Randall, you got called.
Randall was out there. Yeah, I mean, we got 10 fucking inches of snow.
I trekked through a blizzard and a tornado.
He was out there shoveling and scraping ice to get out of the driveway, and I'm like, just fucking chill, man. Like, we had food in here, we could survive. Like, we didn't have power.
You could. He couldn't.
Exactly. He was like, I gotta get to the store to get... He tried to like say it was for other stuff. I'm like, you just want to fucking go get dip. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
I'm ashamed because it's true.
But also remember that so often some of those types of addictions are, yes, there's a chemical piece, but especially with smoking, is sometimes there's a social piece to that too, that ends up altering, so if you quit smoking, well, what do you do when like all your friends or all your coworkers that you used to have 15 5-minute breaks throughout the day, and if you quit smoking, then what are you going to do? Like, it's not just always as simple as, oh, I'll quit smoking, because it can change lots of other pieces of your life. And that's where like extra help around that can make it a little easier.
Well, and it's like I totally understand when people quit smoking that immediately gained a bunch of weight, because it's like I hate the saying oral fixation, but it's like the actual putting your hand to your mouth with something.
Sure.
So
you just replaced it is all you did.
Exactly. They replaced it with food, thinking like, I'm not smoking anymore, but dear God, I have to put something in my mouth. Like, I understand that logic, like, for people, and I hate it. Like,
well, I mean, I can speak from my experience, and you can dive into this and tell me just how crazy I am, Rachel, because you're welcome to. But, my grandpa chewed, dipped forever, and I watched how he used it, and my nanny always called it his pacifier. Mm-hmm. Always. Because he would sit down, put his pacifier in, and then he didn't have to talk to anybody because he's got a mouthful of spit.
I like that approach.
He could sit there and just chill and didn't have to worry about being bothered. I do the same thing almost.
It's your passy.
Like, it's my passy. I can get quiet time. God, it sounds so weird and ridiculous, but it's true.
What do they call it at daycare? They called it like a TT. At daycare, something really ridiculous.
Your binky.
Yeah.
But so
it's your version of a security blanket.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I'm a sick fuck.
Oh, it's not that. Like, look, let's not be real when we're talking about, if you're talking about chew, that shit goes straight to your bloodstream.
Oh yeah, it does.
Like,
and straight all over my fucking floor when he takes a giant pinch and tries to put it in his mouth, and it's like, whoopsie, all over the sheets, all over the floor.
My ex-husband chewed. That's just, it's so nasty.
It's everywhere.
Spit bottles everywhere.
Spit bottles everywhere. Like, I'll find just sprinkles all over the floor. I'm like, if you're gonna do it, get it in your fucking mouth. Like, but
it's so true. It's obnoxious.
But it is interesting if you think about, for just a couple of seconds, the way you use it. Like, it's the same thing around the cigarettes. Like, sometimes smoking is not just about smoking. Sometimes it's about other things. And so for your grandma to even have insight into, like, look, now he doesn't have to talk to anybody. Now he gets this quiet, and Randall, you get quiet time when you do, like, it's usually around, like there's usually rituals around.
It's a routine. It is, because it's like after he eats, after sex.
Right.
After
if he's just sitting and working, like but it is, I mean, everything with Randall and me too, I can't say not me, but it's very ritualistic and routine.
Yeah. Right. And so it's not just as simple as, oh, I'm just not going to do it. Well, that's not always true. My ex-husband quit chewing, like, just because he decided to. He decided he wasn't going to do it, and he didn't do it.
Because he decided to. If Randall ever really decided to, every time he said he was going to quit, it's been to try and please somebody else.
Or it's been a lie.
Or to try and...
bullshit.
Yeah, it's been to try and, like, just... Not for himself.
Not because you were actually dedicated to the change.
No, never. Because he hasn't really ever wanted to.
That's so true.
Yeah. And that's a really key component of it too. And the listener in some ways sort of said it. It's like, well, but lots of other things have changed in my life, but this thing's always been here. It's always stable. It's always solid. It's reliable. I can count on it. So some of that's deciding for yourself that you really are willing, and like, you have to want to change. Like, best therapist in the world isn't going to be able to do anything if you don't want to change.
Yeah, and that's why I don't nag you about it. I just
no,
like to give
you're
you shit
the best.
when you bring
anyone
it up.
that does, I mean, you handle it better than anyone about things like that, and I've always given you credit for that. That a lot of people will push away their spouse or their friends or by mandating a change. To me, that's like the worst way to get anyone to do anything, because then you got resentment.
Right.
When you force a hand, and you're like, quit or don't quit. Face fall off, don't fall off. I'm going to be here. Your jaw falls off. It falls off.
I'm going to be here either way, babe. But
she might never kiss you again, but that's a different
Well, if you don't have lips, it's going to be hard to kiss.
Well, I want to shift gears because this one is a very serious question.
Okay.
And the listener wrote in actually with the words anonymous because they don't, clearly that means they don't want to be identified. And it's a very serious question. Rachel.
Isn't a resolution, though.
I know, but I couldn't not ask it.
Okay.
Because this is somebody that clearly wants Rachel to hear their question.
Okay.
So you're right. Sorry, Rachel. This isn't New Year's, but
is
it normal to literally forget that you got raped in college? It's the reason I dropped out and moved home. It was only brought up recently because of this abuse group that I joined on Facebook. So I guess the question is like, can trauma be so bad that you literally just...
Yep. Yeah. The short answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. It's your brain's way of protecting you.
Yeah.
There's different ways and different thought processes around how to go about that, but my recommendation is going to be trying to find a trauma-informed therapist who can help with that, because the biggest, and here's the thing, lots of people forget their trauma. You can have the memory lapse and it's maybe not a problem. But if you get re-traumatized or you get triggered and that portion of it starts to become problematic, a trauma-informed therapist could be really, really helpful around that, but it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon at all.
Yeah, so that's what my question was around that. So you're saying, like, you could be, let's say, somebody did something.
We watched that documentary, The Keepers, remember, where the girl was sexually abused by her at the Catholic school? Mm-hmm. And, like, bad, and he was doing it to a bunch of girls. He would look in their files for any kind of molestation or sexual abuse in the family and target those girls, sexually abuse them. But there was the one, and they murdered a nun. It was a whole thing. But the one lady.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Have you seen it? It's.
I haven't seen it. I just heard about it.
It's really good. It's dark as shit, but it's really good. But the one lady that they kept talking to, like, she was one of the like repeatedly abused and had completely blocked it out. Like, as an adult, she grew up, got married, had kids, and then like she had no memory of it until like somebody asked her about going to a high school reunion, and she was like, she just got this really weird feeling in her stomach, like, don't want to go there. Like, I don't, she didn't have, it didn't like, it wasn't like, no, because I was molested and sexually abused at high school, but it was like she just got a really bad feeling, and then she went and looked at like a yearbook and was like, why am I having all these weird feelings? And she saw the picture of the guy that did it, and it all came like flooding back.
So then you get like raped again.
Basically, she said she just like dissolved into a puddle, like in her. I mean, it was
crazy.
just like, like
that's awful. So that's my question. So mechanism. It is almost though like you could. Whenever this resurfaces, if it's not taken care of, it's like it happening all over again, right? Like
it can. And there are some forms of trauma therapy that I have heard, not experienced this, but heard that, even during the reprocessing in a therapist's office, like you can even have some somatic symptoms, like your body literally remembers what happened and the pain happens all over again, which is scary. And why I typically recommend to people that if you have severe trauma, particularly sexual trauma, to find a therapist who has some solid training and experience with that, so that it's done as safely and as comfortably as possible.
Well, I've got to come clean again. That was Brooke's question.
What?
That should have been your question to ask. I just looked at my sheet. I'm the worst about staying in order.
Baby.
That was your sheet.
Yes, you are.
And I'm not going in order.
Randall.
God, I suck.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine that you asked it. I wasn't even going to say anything, babe.
But why am I so bad?
Because it's just
all right, you go ahead, babe. You ask whatever you want.
Just pick one of these.
Whatever order you want to.
Yeah, and that horribly, I mean, not.
I remember that now, the documentary that we were watching.
It was really good. So if anybody has not seen The Keepers, you should, if you're in the mood for some really dark but good true crime. Let me pick one of these. I really need to focus on my health and fitness this year, but making a plan is so overwhelming. How can I simplify it?
This is why I think most people fail. This is just my opinion. Rachel can chime in, but I think people shoot for the moon with New Year's.
You need baby steps, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, how small can you break it down to make it feel manageable?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, because it's crazy hard to say, okay, I'm gonna take care of my health. Well, okay, what all does that encompass? Because if you take care of your mental health, you're taking care of your health.
Mm-hmm.
But is that the only piece you mean, or did you even include that in the big? But if we're talking about physical health, like there's tons of apps that can be helpful around that stuff. But it also, like, let's not joke around about the fact that it takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot of focus and it takes a lot of energy. So what piece of that feels manageable, right? So going from never exercising to exercising 6 days a week, you're probably not going to do that.
Well, and your body's going to feel worse than better.
Well, it's setting yourself up for failure.
If you go that hard in the paint that quick,
right?
I can tell you.
And so I'm gonna eat healthy. Okay, that's I'm all for that game plan.
That's kind of vague. Yeah.
Be real, but it's really vague. Be real about what it is you want to do. Is there a particular, I don't know, do you want to go vegetarian? Are you going to choose keto diets, like the big rage right now, right? So, like, pick something, do some research around it, develop a weekly meal plan. Like, take the smallest step that feels manageable and practice that. And I really think so much of this is just about practice, right? Like, when we go in and go, it's all or nothing, we end up choosing nothing.
Yeah. Well,
so if we can say, I'll try, like, I'm going to choose to bring my lunch to work every, maybe 4 days a week. Okay, well, that's probably better than eating out 5 days a week.
Yeah. I mean, just layering in just more healthy choices and like seeing how easily you can incorporate those into your routine and go at your own pace, you know? Like, I mean, I was able to start when I wanted to change my diet and get in better shape. It was like, of course I had Randall's help too, but that was a big component of it. Like making sure we made enough dinner every night so that I had leftovers and I didn't have to eat cafeteria or fast food or whatever. Yep. And it's a huge difference. I mean,
and if you don't plan for that, you're absolutely right. That'll make people quit immediately. If you don't have either a partner or where you get yourself in a routine of making basically just double the dinner.
Yeah.
And having the capacity to take your lunch every day and be okay with that, you'll fail at that. It's huge.
And let's not pretend like so that's your game plan, right? So I'm going to make enough dinner. Like this is, we'll just make it super simple. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to make enough dinner every night so that I have leftovers for lunch the next day so I can stop eating out while I'm at work. It's a great plan. Mm-hmm. It also doesn't mean that if in week 2 you eat out once or twice because you forgot to bring your lunch, that you threw the whole thing out the window.
Oh, of course not.
It just means you pick it back up on day 3.
Yeah. And then you try and layer in going to the gym and like finding out what times you can, and just like, you know, layer in things as you feel comfortable. You don't have to go in.
Well, that's why I'm such a big proponent. That's the right word, right? Proponent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm pro. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm so pro of writing your goals down. People hear me talk about it all the time. They think I'm obnoxious. But whenever I've gotten serious about something, like the Randy challenge I wanted to meet, the weight loss challenge, or after I had my neck surgery to recover.
Well, you write it down on social media.
I write down on social media. I write it down in my workout notebook. I have a notebook in my workout bag. I can tell you how many reps I did on November 15th, 2015 in the gym and what the weight was. Now, that's excessive. Please, that's excessive.
Or not, because I wouldn't say it's excessive if it works for you. If holding yourself accountable in that way allows you to stay on track or get back on track when you fall off, then that's really what you've done, is built in for yourself the accountability that you need. It might not look that way for other people, but for you, it works.
You're so right, Rachel.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and you know, people have lots of methods that they use to keep on track for things. I mean, it really just is a matter of figuring out what works for you, because there's not a one answer fits everyone. But I will say that, yes, I agree with you. Writing down a goal is huge. Making sure that that goal is something that is manageable is better to start. Mm-hmm. Like, what's the smallest piece you can bring it down to that will help you feel successful as you do it?
I agree with that, because that's the only way you can grow it. If your ultimate goal is something more, that's fine. I would still set the goal smaller, because once you achieve it or maintain it and make it a habit, like,
then add to it.
If it's just, if your big goal is I want to go to the gym and get in shape, you know, your small goal should be, you know what, I want to go once or twice a week, so you don't burn out. Once you go once or twice a week, then you don't have a problem going 3 or 4.
Right.
If you try going 3 or 4 right out the gate, you'll be quitting by week 2.
Yeah, if you have the time. I mean, but layer in when you can, and anything is better than nothing.
Right. And also that's a really good point, because if you pull in, you know, okay, so you tell yourself you're going to go to the gym 2 days a week. So you didn't make it to the gym and it's Saturday night. So what's something you can do at home for the day that you can't go to the gym, right? And you can still accomplish what it is you want. Like, there's lots of ways to do small things that will add up And there's lots of ways to build supports in for yourself when you don't want to do something.
And if you don't kill yourself and completely quit. Because there's weeks, I mean, like I literally go to the gym twice a week now. There was a time when I was going 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. It's not possible for me to go 7 days a week with my schedule. But like twice a week, like I'm come to terms with that. It's fine. But if there's some weeks where I go 0 times, and you know what? It's fine because that's
totally fine.
Because life got in the way, and that happens. So
and it does.
Just do it the next week the best you can. Like it's not, life isn't over if you don't get to make it.
No, and it's no reason to scrap your plan.
Right.
Like if you're scrapping your plan because you missed the day, you know what? You were just looking for a way out, honestly.
And there's there's been plenty of days where I've come home and I'm like, and it's a Monday or a Wednesday when I'm usually going to the gym and I'm like, I'm not going.
I know. I mean, I go all the time and I can tell you 100% there's days where I work out with much less gusto than others. And here's the funny thing. Rachel hit on this, and this is, I think, important because fitness is a big New Year's resolution. So that's kind of why I'm keying in on it. People want to think that you got to go to a gym. The realest, dealest, hardest, corest, all those are real words. Workouts that people can do all can be done at home, and no one wants to do them. You know why? Because it's the hardest work. Push-ups and sit-ups. If you do push-ups and sit-ups at home, you can get in really good shape and get strong, get your core strong, get your arms, your chest. But no one wants to do those. You know why? Because they suck. And you're on the floor, and you don't wear your cute gym clothes.
And you're looking at your couch.
And you don't get your good gym selfie. I'm speaking for me. I know all these.
I don't take any gym selfies.
I know, but
okay.
I'm saying.
All right.
It's not as sexy to sit in your living room floor and do sit-ups and push-ups, but it's just as good for you. Yeah, so if you can't go to the gym, you can still push and do sit-ups.
When Gunnar was a newborn, I would stand in front of the TV and hold him and do squats.
No, that's legit as fuck.
And try and like do something with him. And like if it wasn't like taking a walk and stuff like that, but like you can improvise whatever your situation is and
trust me, you can do yoga. You can do sit-ups.
I was going to go there too. Yeah, like there's tons of YouTube yoga videos that are helpful on the days you can't go, or if the gym is out of your budget. Like, let's be real. I mean, yes, there's some really cheap gyms, or you don't have one nearby you.
Yeah.
Like, or I'll be perfectly honest, I'm never going to go to a gym because I'm not leaving my house to do it. Like, I know this about myself.
There you go.
Like, I'm not going to do it. If the times I've successfully stayed on any kind of workout plan, I've done it at home. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. And I don't like to work out in front of people.
There you go. A lot of people don't. They're insecure about, different things. Everyone is.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I've got a heavy bag down in the basement and a speed bag down in the basement. I can sweat my tits off down there and get just as good of a workout. You can go to the gym and work out
in front of anybody. You can go by yourself or with people. But I mean, so that's not.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to help the people that I'm for sure.
That don't want to go.
I can get it done, but I'm trying to help the ones that are like.
Well, and I don't go. The only way I'm successful going to the gym is going to classes.
Yeah, you've got to have somebody screaming in your face.
I have to be part of a group
and screaming in your face.
Well, and it's like. Because that's all holding me accountable. Because it's not. Because if I go to the gym by myself, I'll run on the treadmill for 10 minutes and be like, "This blows. I'm out of here."
So true. There's so many more like you too that can't do it.
But when I go to the classes, it's an hour of kicking my ass, and because I'm in a room full of other people, like I'm not gonna just stop.
Oh, you don't walk away then?
No.
Yeah.
I could never do the class she does, by the way. I would quit in a heartbeat. It is so hard, and those women come out, and their asses are kicked, and they're a weird color red. And
that's why I go twice a week.
They're breathing heavy, and they've totally got 1,000 times better workout than I ever got that day. But I would drop dead.
That's the only way I've ever been successful is that, though. So everybody's got a different speed and a different method. You just got to find what fits your schedule and your personality. And I mean, plenty of people could just do it at home.
But
I can't do that either.
If you start small and do sit-ups every day and some push-ups, after a month of that or 3 weeks of that, however long it takes to build a habit, then you'll be like, you know what, shit, I've upped my push-ups from 6 to 26.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm doing 200 sit-ups where I was doing 25 before. Maybe I'm ready for a small gym or a class. And you're just setting yourself up to be successful better.
Well, I also think that, to Brooke's point, like sometimes it's about having other people to be accountable to. Sometimes it's accountability for yourself. Like that can vary, and figuring out what works for you as far as that goes. If you know someone who's been really successful at that, ask how they started. Like sometimes you can use things that have, worked for other people and try them out for yourself. If they don't work for you, fine. But if this is a goal, and you're right, health and fitness are huge ones for New Year's. If those are really the things that matter to you, if this, if you've decided this is the year I need to take care of myself, do whatever you can, the smallest piece you can, so that you can feel successful. Mm-hmm. Because success feeds the desire to do more. Where when you take off, just when you take a big giant bite of something, it's just easier to spit it out and walk away.
Yeah, even if it's like taking a walk with your partner after dinner.
Yep. For absolutely.
Sure. No, that can open the floodgates.
Or walking your dog if you don't have a spouse or partner. Like
you can't run the Boston Marathon if you haven't walked around your block first.
No.
Right.
And you just can't.
So if that's your goal, to run the Boston Marathon, then you need to, baby steps. Don't just think that you're just going to go out and start running 2-3 miles a day. You got to start.
You'll think you're a loser because you're going to go run a quarter mile and throw up.
Right. You got to start walking, and then start walking longer distances, and then start jogging a little bit during that. And then just ramp yourself up to your ultimate goal. Don't think you're going to be able to get to it immediately.
Right.
All right. Well, I want to
and use the apps and all the whatevers that are out there. If you need some support and some help around that stuff, there's tons of great stuff out there that can be utilized for support.
Oh gosh, yes.
All right, Rachel, this is the last one. Rachel, do you think failed resolutions are the cause of a greater amount of depression during the winter months?
Where's that
one?
It's number 3.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Interesting. I don't know that I don't actually have the answer for that. Like, I don't know what the research says about that in particular. I mean, I also think January, part of what's hard is if anybody struggles with seasonal affective disorder, January is dark. And if you live anywhere
and you're broke,
north where it's cold and dark and awful.
Not that I really feel.
Right. Now that you
Well, I mean, yourself, if you add that to the equation and then you're broke from buying presents from Christmas, it does make a recipe for disaster.
It really can, and let's be real, if you live somewhere where the weather is problematic in the wintertime, you don't hang out with your friends as much. You don't see people. It's dark by freaking 5 o'clock, and you feel like you should be in bed as soon as you get home from work. And
it is harder to get motivated to get. Jesus, Randall.
You just missed that, Rachel. That was the funniest shit. My microphone just fell and punched me in the face.
Oh, jeez.
Your whole thing
This is when I wish we did video.
I know. That was ridiculous. Because you had it pointed all weird.
But it was lodged for an hour.
I know.
And all of a sudden, I didn't touch it.
There was no reason. It's the ghost.
It just decided you needed a good smack.
Yep. Our house is haunted.
Well, I think I'm the only person on planet Earth that likes it when it's dark at 5 o'clock.
Oh,
it makes me tired earlier. I mean, it's just a natural. It feels like midnight, and then I'm like, oh, it's 7:30.
Right.
And I like that. That's the crazy thing. Is I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm winding down at 5:45.
We're winding down at that time anyways.
Yeah,
so,
but it's a built-in parenting win because it makes the sun makes Gunner start winding down.
This is true.
You're not lying for sure. Yeah, because in the summertime when it's light until 9 o'clock. And
he's balls deep.
And we're putting him to bed and like I'm trying to shut the curtains as tight as possible. And he's like, but it's not dark. I'm like, shh, it's fine.
He's like, the sun's not down. I'm partying, baby.
Yeah, he's like, but why?
You're lying to me, folks.
Yeah, it's just nap time, right? I'm like, no. It's bedtime.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, in lots of times, like, some days I don't see clients till, 3, 4, 5 o'clock.
Ew.
And, I love when I get out of session at 9 and it's still light outside. It's like my favorite thing ever. Now it's like sometimes it's dark when I go into the office. Like, what the hell?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, your hours are all crazy, though.
Yeah, I'm just like, ew, I can't stand it. But I think, like, sure, do failed resolutions at the end of January make you feel maybe worse on top of everything else? Maybe. But I also think there's a lot of things in January and February that are, the holidays are done. There's not a whole lot happening. The weather, at least up here, tends to be crappy. I think there's a lot of extenuating circumstances that can add to that, and you're right. Sometimes feeling crappy about yourself and feeling like oh, great, it's one more thing I failed. Yeah, that can be really hard.
Or the pressure of like starting a new year and then like, what am I going to do this year? Like, it's like this whole calendar of months puts pressure on people that like it's not fair. Like, just because it's a new year doesn't mean there should be that much more pressure on you. But we do it to ourselves with businesses and everything.
I think people should give themselves a lot of slack in the month of January. Mm-hmm. This is just me personally, because you're coming out of Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. So you're coming out of bankrolling yourself because it's a whole lot of expense, traveling, gifts. January, you just got to hope you're alive. Mm-hmm. That you made it.
That's your win.
What? If you're broke and shit, be nice to yourself and be like, you know what? Fuck, I'm going to start thinking about shit in February.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? Actually, there's a really great resolution. If making resolutions makes you feel better, I have a suggestion. Try just being nice to yourself.
Yeah, give yourself a break.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like, in the sense of, you can make resolutions that aren't necessarily about big things, large, but try just giving yourself the grace that you would give other people. Genuinely checking your negative self-talk and trying to be a little nicer to yourself.
Yes.
It may sound ridiculous in some ways. I don't know. Find some affirmations that work well for you. But those kinds of things, I'm someone who, and some of this is theoretical and some of this is just my own personal stuff. I find it a lot easier to do anything when you're adding things to rather than taking things away. So if we think about the food thing, I'm adding 3 more healthy meals than I ate last week, rather than telling myself I can't eat any crap. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
Because then it's like, so I'm gonna try to remember to say nice things to myself 3 times this week. That's a lot better than saying, I wouldn't say better, but it's a lot more helpful than saying, I'm going to stop all that negative self-talk and that I do to myself every day.
Right. Like, be more specific.
So, what can you add? What are things you can add to your life instead of maybe taking things away?
Yeah, I've got a friend that had a pretty big epiphany, and I don't want to go into it, but was talking to me a lot about his self-talk with himself and how portraying the image that we portray to everyone, how unreal it is.
Yep.
And if you would talk to yourself the way that you portray an image to, you would be a lot nicer to yourself.
Well, I would simply say it to you this way. Talk to yourself like you would talk to someone you love.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't say it to your best friend, if you wouldn't say it to your child,
or your spouse,
if you wouldn't say it to your partner, don't say it to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, and all the people that are listening right now are like, you guys are just being mumbo jumbo hippies. Take a second and think about every time you look in the mirror and you say, look at your fat ass, to yourself. I know me. I do.
All you do is look at the
like
what
all
you
the
think
time,
is
where you're like, you know what?
gross
why am
about
I flabby
yourself?
right
Yeah.
here? Why am I not? Where's my muscle going?
Right.
All those things. You kill yourself.
I have to do that all the time. It's just like I have to just think about what would Randall say instead of get out of your own fucking head, Brooke.
And it's not easy to do.
No.
And if you're struggling with your self-worth and your self-esteem, then that's even more challenging. And I would venture out to say, if you really want a resolution that can truly transform things for you, work on your self-esteem and work on how you treat yourself. Because once you love yourself, you start making different choices. Because you actually care enough about yourself to do so, and you might actually believe you're worth it.
It makes a world of difference, especially if you're single, instead of like constantly searching for
validation.
Right. Like you have to find a partner. Like you have to, like, you might need to reflect and start to try and find ways to love yourself so that you can be the best person possible for somebody else.
Well, yeah, I think it's a little cliche and cheesy, but it's the whole, become the partner you're searching for.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
absolutely.
And yeah, rather than these are all the bad things I need to change about myself, and these are all the because clearly I'm a fat ass and I need to drop 50 pounds. Instead of something like that, if you could love yourself enough to start to take better care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So much of it is the way you frame it to yourself, because it's much easier to eat better when you view it as taking care of yourself versus beating the crap out of yourself.
Or suffering.
I'm going to rob myself of everything I love because that's what makes me healthy.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Not if that approach fails you every time.
Right. Well, and you can't look at it when you're changing your diet that it's a miserable thing, and I'm eating this horrible diet because I cut out a lot of carbs from my diet, and the result is I feel so much better. Do I miss cheese fries? Fuck yes. God. French fries, period, and
potatoes,
pasta,
period,
and potatoes.
I haven't ate a potato since Nom.
No, I'm lately plenty.
We rarely eat potatoes.
But
are you kidding me?
She never eats bread.
Shit fit if we took potatoes out of our diet.
I love me some potatoes, but I don't eat that many because when I do, when I cheat and I'm like, fuck it, I'm getting some home fries. And then I don't feel great.
But you've never been one that's like bread. I've known you. You're you know what?
Bread's Satan.
Brooke's
yeah.
I don't. Everybody else would be like, I want a loaf of bread now with everything I can stuff into my.
No,
Brooke's
I've never.
I don't even want. bread.
Before I even started cutting carbs on my diet, I didn't want to fill up on bread.
You want
Are you kidding?
Real deal.
Bread's the best thing ever.
Me too.
This is why I will never be able to stick to any of the really crazy diets that are out there, because I'm not giving up bread. I'm not doing it.
I can't.
If you put some of those cheesy garlic biscuits in front of me, I'll eat all of them.
You can put in front of me
the
cheapest, most garbage brand of white bread right now, and I'll eat all of it.
That doesn't tempt me at all.
I just love bread.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you.
It's the carbs and it's the comfort and makes me feel fat and full. And I love all of it.
It just makes me happy.
And it's an adjustment. I mean, it's when you do something like that and you know you're doing it for the results that you want, it is an adjustment. And then when you start to realize that, this different feeling is like kind of your body like detoxing from whatever, and then the only time you really notice the difference is when you cheat or like regress a little bit, and you like, and I mean everybody should. You shouldn't 100% of the time, you know, just I mean do you know, because I like the holidays, fuck it, I'm eating everything that you put in front of me. I'm not even thinking about my diet, like, oh, pumpkin pie and ice cream and whatever, yes, all of it. But I can tell now, because it is most of the time I try to cut a lot of that out, and it's a whole different feeling of like, oh yeah, that's just, I feel more tired. But
hey, I do have to interject and ask something for Dr. Muddington, and it's not a real question. It's more of a statement for Rachel. How do you feel about the Bears' resolution to let us watch a worthwhile playoff game this year?
Oh my God,
the Bears are kicking ass.
I'm so freaking excited. It's so nice to like our team again. It's amazing.
The Bears are killing shit.
I'm too busy trying to not be excited about the Saints.
Yeah, Brooke has been so upset. Football has been bad to her since the Saints won the Super Bowl years ago.
Professional football, yes.
Any football.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Georgia got to the national championship last year. I can't be... And LSU got there. Yeah, I mean, we don't win, but yeah, Saints won the Super Bowl and then have not been great. And this year they've been so good that I have not barely talked about it, because it's like this is what being a Saints fan is like. It's like, don't look at it, don't make eye contact, like, but then you get super excited when you watch and I'm not in New Orleans. When you're in New Orleans, it's different. But like being a remote fan, it's like I get too nervous about talking about it too much. But they're fucking 11-2, killing it.
Yeah, Bears are 10-3,
and I don't know what they're doing right now. They're Monday Night Football tonight, and it's happening right now. And I don't know.
Nobody saw the Bears being good this quick.
The Bears are.
That's not true. Because look, after the trauma of Jay Cutler.
So you were a believer in Mitch Trubisky over this offseason.
So Tom went into this season saying to me, Rachel, I'm telling you, your team is really good.
Tom knows
like really solid.
I like that about Tom.
I was too afraid to even listen to him. But then like after the first couple, I'm like, oh, they're actually fun to watch again. Like, this is fantastic. And then like, yesterday happened. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. So I got to give you and Dr. Muddington your due, because I know he's.
So they in the playoffs?
I mean, they've already clinched. Yeah. They'll be in the playoffs. Dr. Muddington.
Yeah, we won the NFC North Championship yesterday.
He's got a big boner sitting in Chicago right now for the Bears.
Yeah, we're super excited around here.
Well,
all
Saints
right,
are
Rachel.
just wanting a home field advantage for the playoffs, because that's where we shine.
It's gonna be an interesting wrap up to the season.
It definitely is.
Maybe my professional team will not let me down, but I'm not getting my hopes up too much.
I have been there. I feel you.
Well, Rachel, we will get with you about what we're wanting to do for the next month's topic. We'll get with you offline about that and set it up so we can get it out. But we already know the date, right?
Well, it's third Monday in
January.
January.
Third Monday of January. So we'll do. I'm sure it'll be a lot of depression questions, because people will be coming out of the
winter blues.
And have that conversation. Absolutely.
Well, all right, Rachel. Well, we love you, and we'll holler at you later.
Bye, Rachel.
All right, you guys have a great holiday. Love you guys too.
Yep, and you get some rest and keep getting better.
I will. Thanks, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye.
And as for all you poop butt motherfuckers.
Oh, Din's limping, babe.
I know. I've been watching him.
It's his shoulder.
Yeah. Well, then suck it up, champ. I thought it was your foot.
If it's his foot, he would have been holding it up.
Oh. Well, all right. Well, we'll let you dick suckers go, too. That was a long one. This is going to be one of them old 2 hours, so you have to listen to it in segments. But there you go.
Oh,
so
just when I said that, look.
If we don't see you or talk to you before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Put your dick in a box and then fuck that motherfucker.
Oh, I like that one.
Fuck yourselves. Shit yourself.